They say all men are created equal.
Shot! Master!
I'll pull out the Glock.
Full of suffering succotash, son.
One of your nuts is hanging out of your shorts.
Real glass!
You have a father, but your father's dead.
Hiya, welcome back to the Two Sweet podcast with Lucy and Estelle. And it's Thursday, so that means we're back with another Dynamite review. Last week was our first week sort of properly back after a little bit of a break, and I felt really refreshed and excited watching Dynamite this week and really excited to talk about it, especially like with the way the show ended and the match that it ended on, but we'll get to that in due course. But Estelle, how did you find the show this week?
Yeah, especially with us being back on the normal day as well, because last week it ended up being on a Friday.
True.
I was at a concert on Thursday, so it was just the way it's kind of worked out. But yeah, last week's episode was fucking amazing. Like, what an episode to come back on and to review and talk about. This week, while watching it, I was like, I'm enjoying this, but not as much as last week, until the final match, where I was just, not that I wasn't blown away before, but like I was like, I'm enjoying this, but I'm not at like up here. But after the final match, I was like, oh, that was incredible. But before we kind of get into the show, I've been saving this because I thought our viewers would appreciate it. If I ask about how the For Love of Wrestling convention went from, well, I know the independent matches. Was it Atomic, or have I gotten that wrong?
Future
Shock. Fuck. Sorry. But the Future Shock matches that you commentated on, but also the con itself. Like, did you manage to see JR? Like, who did you meet? Who did you see? What were your personal highlights?
Oh, it was one of the best days ever. And I've been to that like convention as a fan once before, and it was in a different venue, and I arrived, couldn't find a parking spot. This is the one thing that I didn't like about it. The parking situation, fucking horrendous, man.
So where was it held?
So it was held at the BEC Arena in Manchester, which is really close to the Trafford Centre.
And where was it held last year?
The time that I went, which I think was a couple of years back, it was in Liverpool somewhere. So I think they've had it at this Manchester venue for a couple of years running now. And so yeah, I arrived and I was told...
is the BEC the one next to the train station?
No, it's
like got green branding.
No, it's near the Trafford Centre, so it's like not really in the centre of Manchester. If you're coming from the centre of Manchester, like you need to get a tram to the Trafford Centre and then walk. So I'd never been there before, and it was huge, and I was so surprised. Like, I walked in and there's this huge sea of people, and it was split into like two quite big halls. I was really surprised, but I was told to go to the staff parking because I was there with Future Shock. Staff parking was full with fans because the fan area parking area had got full, so people had just been driving around and parking wherever they could. So it was stressful.
Did you have to pay for parking?
Well, I wasn't supposed to as staff, but I accidentally did anyway. That was totally my own fault. But it was £10.
You'd think we'd have some kind of parking pass, wouldn't you, or something? Because then they could quote how many cars are going to be there rather than just a rock up. What time did you get there? What time did it start?
So this is probably my own fault. I didn't anticipate it being this busy. It started, I believe, the early entrant passes got people in at about 9 a.m. and I got there at about 12 p.m. Because, you know, obviously I was doing commentary, so I wanted to sort of reserve some energy rather than like be there all day. But I also wanted to have enough time to sort of take it all in. So I thought that was like a good time to arrive. And I did manage to find a spot. Luckily, me and my tiny micro, I did manage to fit somewhere, but I was just incredibly lucky. So that was a little bit stressful. So that I will caveat that. And if you're maybe thinking of going next year, I believe tickets are on sale. Like, fucking get there as early as you can if you wanted to drive. Or don't even drive, just take public transport. It'll be way easier. Save you a massive headache. But I do think that £10 parking for the whole entire day was quite good value, to be fair. But that's that. Like I said, I walked in, it was so busy. Like, unbelievable. I think it's the busiest that they've ever had it. And I just arrived in time to see JR and Jerry the King Lawler do a panel. And they did it on... So the way they had it set up was they had a ring right in the middle of the convention centre where they were doing most of the Q&As. So I sat down near there. Like there was one seat next to these people. I was like, "Is anyone sit here?" They're like, "No." I was like, "Oh, great! I'm dead lucky. I managed to sit down really close to the ring." But then they ended up doing this panel on the stage instead. And because they changed up the location of it, maybe it was because like they couldn't get down to the ring for whatever reason, like mobility issues. The audio was not the best. I'm not gonna lie. So like I did struggle a little bit to hear what they were saying. I didn't catch all of it, but I sort of got to the front of the crowd and was like off to the side of the stage. So I got to see him, and that was very surreal and very cool. And then the next sort of thing was Soraya did a panel, and that actually was in the ring. So I was stood like sort of near the ring, and I actually got to ask her a question, which was really cool. And that was, oh, I just felt very, a little bit starstruck actually. And she was very sweet. She was like taking the time to make eye contact with everyone and answer their questions fully and stuff like that. So that was really nice. Then we had a couple
What
more
was it that you
panels.
asked her?
I asked her about her book. I asked her like what it was like to be able to tell her story like authentically. Because obviously, she had a movie made about her life and stuff like that, which wasn't really, like an authentic representation of her life. And she was like, yeah, it was really strange. It was like putting my diary out into the world, but it was empowering because lots of people have tried to tell my story and they tell it incorrectly. So it was empowering to be able to do that. So,
How does the movie not get it right?
um, well, obviously I think that the timeline is skewed because, like, for Hollywood purposes, it's they leave things out, they cut things out, and in terms of the speed at which she rose to fame in WWE, but also when you read her book, the nitty-gritty details of the really shitty relationship she was in at the time when she was in NXT, the addiction and eating disorder problems that she had. Like, it's quite a triggering book, and I would always say this to people when I recommend it, like, trigger warning, there's a lot of deep shit and she doesn't hold back, but I think that's why it's such a great book. And yeah, I think it's great that she's been able to tell that because obviously in a polished Hollywood version of your life, that's never going to come to light.
Question. What are your top three wrestling autobiographies?
Oh, that's really difficult because there's so many good ones.
Just off the
Although
top of your head. It's fine if you
num
miss some, but like just fire some off that you really love.
number one, without a doubt, is AJ Lee. If you haven't read that, you should go out of your way to read it. It's a masterpiece as far as I'm concerned. Moxley's is really good. For me, like being authentic is one of my key things with it when it comes to these. So if it's obviously ghost written or if it's obviously like a WWE propaganda piece, then I'm probably not going to enjoy it. But yeah, those two are very real. I've got my bookshelf right next to me, so I'm kind of cheating and looking. I mean, Mick Foley's are all classics. And Roddy Piper's is also really good. His kids and his wife sort of he didn't finish writing it before he passed away, so they sort of had to finish it off for him, which makes it all the more emotional. So that was really good. So that's four actually. So yeah, sounds
Sorry,
about
back
that.
to the convention story. So you just
Yeah.
seen Saraya.
Mm. And then Billy Gunn did a panel, which I sort of listened in to, and then sort of around 4 p.m.-ish, we were starting to get ready for the wrestling show. So me and Isaiah Quinn, the other commentator, we were going through our notes and things, and I was eating and trying to like relax because I was feeling tired because obviously it's a lot of standing and walking around at a convention, and I was like wanted to have the energy levels up. So Frankie Kazarian was on the card, and I did see him in the locker room, and he was very sweet, and he shook my hand twice actually before and after the match, which was very kind. I wasn't expecting that. The Inspiration, aka the Iconics from WWE, were also wrestling, and I got to introduce myself to them, and it was really funny actually. I said, "Oh, I hope the commentary is okay. I hope hope you're happy with it if you ever listen to it back." And they were like, "Oh yeah, it'll be great because you're a woman." And I was like, "Spot on." Love that. That's feminism. Yeah, it was just a big blur, really. The show started at about 6:30. Well, it was meant to actually. There was a big delay on letting people in, but like over 1,000 tickets sold for the after party. So it wasn't like included in your convention ticket. It was like an additional add-on, and it sold really well. It was really full. Atmosphere was incredible. Who of note was on the card? So like Christy Hemme and Melina were involved in a match. RVD and the Sandman. I mean, the fucking Sandman did a Sandman entrance. I was like, what the hell is this? He was pouring beer into fans' mouths. It was insane. And we had a rumble. Grado was in the rumble, our mate Grado. And Bushwhacker Luke was also in the rumble. He was the last entrant. Bushwhacker Luke, by the way, 78 years old. And he actually eliminated someone. So that was fucking surreal. And then in the second half of the show, it was Lally versus the Inspiration, and then it was Troy Ryan versus Billy Gunn. Oh my God, Billy Gunn, so ripped, Christ alive. And then it was Frankie Kazarian versus Sam Bailey versus Tony Wright in the main event. They have their own championship for the Love of Wrestling Championship, and I kind of expected the guests to sort of hone it in, like, okay, we're here in the UK, we don't really want to injure ourselves, but fuck me, they didn't. Especially Frankie Kazarian, that match was insane. Really, really good match. Overall, I just felt like it was a bit of a out-of-body experience the whole day. I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing here, but I was just taking it all in and really enjoyed myself. I loved, like, getting to chat to all the exhibitors as well, and I actually did give one of our... I took our cards with me, and I got chatting to one of the lasses, and she was like, she's art prints. It's called Art Side of the Ring. So you can search them on Instagram and Etsy, and they have like really cool drawings and prints. And she was like, yeah, well, I can't please everyone. Someone asked me why I don't have any TNA prints. And I was like, yeah, fair enough. She's like, I'm just an AEW fan. I was like, well, you're going to love this. She said she would listen, so if you're listening, hell yeah, thank you. But it was so surreal, because it's like, fuck me, growing up as a kid, you think you're a nerd and you think, God, no one likes wrestling, I'm so weird, and you come to an event like this and you're like, fucking hell, this is a community and this is really special. It just makes you feel like I'm part of something here, and it just was really nice to have. I saw a lot of my friends that I know through going to shows there, and obviously there was the Future Shock show, and seeing friends that I made through that wrestle, people that they've dreamt of wrestling. It was very special, and I enjoyed it a lot, to summarise.
Well, sounds like an amazing time was had.
So I kind of went off on a really long tangent about that.
No, it was really, really interesting. That's why I wanted to save it. I didn't want you to think, why isn't she asking me about it? But I just thought I'd wait till the podcast to get the authentic scoop. But yeah, should we get into the review side of things now?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. I mean, I've talked so much. I'm needing to take a sip of my water, so apologies if you heard my water drinking slurping away. But yeah, absolutely. So we started off Dynamite the same way as we did last week, with like some promos to the camera, some pre-recorded promos, which made me laugh. The Babes of Wrath were like, we're gonna fill you with so much wrath, it's gonna come out your ass. Harley Cameron, never change. I love you. And they're ready for their rematch. And Mega Bad, and by the way, every time I type out Mega Bad, my computer autocorrects it to Megabit. Was saying Australia was a warning and tonight is the reality. You're gonna bow down and stay down. Featuring a boomer pause at the end, and then the production guys going, yeah, that was good. So that popped me. That made me giggle. And then it's not supposed to make you laugh. This next bit wasn't meant to be funny, but it was. The Young Bucks video package on Collision. FTR attacked the Young Bucks family. They shoved them
against the swirl. Can we just talk about the swirl? Like, talk about like bad names.
I mean, what is
the swirl?
What does that mean? What I
think I remember the swirl. Like, I remember when they debuted as the swirl. But I'd like repressed it, and then when I watched Collision and it was like the swirl, and it's really stuck. You know when something daft just like implants in your mind, and I just can't stop thinking about the swirl. Like it's really gotten to me.
Where did they get that name from? Like when I think of swirl, I think of like a haircut. Is it a reference to hair? What do you
Swirl.
mean by that? But yeah, so
It's
uh,
swirling time, baby.
it's just not badass, is it? You
No.
know. Um, but yeah, so the books were like, you crossed the line when you put your hands on our family. Hilarious scenes, like the dad was pushing him, so they pushed him back. They pushed their mum. There was powder fucking everywhere, and they pile drove their brother Malachi in the middle of the ring. Hilarious. I love it. I love the drama. I'm here for this sports entertainment shit. Yeah, I'm gonna fucking kill your mum. Love it. So that made me laugh. So I was sports entertained before we even really began the show.
I had one moment that really made me laugh, but I'll save it till when we get to it, because I
Okay.
was creasing.
I can't wait. I can't wait. The anticipation is killing me.
Yeah,
Um,
just putting that one on,
yeah,
just cook in the background. What will it be? Oh.
the suspension is absolutely killing us all. So then it was time. It was Moxley versus El Clon to start the show,
And that's
and
just been a common thing, hasn't it? Mox. So it's always been the case that you have that banger match at the start, but
yeah,
Mox for a number of weeks now has taken that spot as the Mox opening the show, and I'm not mad about it. He knocks it out of the park every single time.
yeah, you're right. I hadn't actually thought about that until you pointed out, but that's spot on. Maybe it's because he's reliable. He is reliable to kick off the show in a great way. And also, I think the high energy of his entrance is a great way to start off the show too. Um, so Renee was doing her thing again, just nailing it, being fantastic as usual. And then she asked Marina why she slaps Moxley before the show. And
Very
Marina went,
kinky response.
yeah, Marina went, there's no peace for great men. There is no pain in that slap, only joy. But I can't. The delivery, there was something about the way she delivered it that was so fucking badass. I was like, I absolutely love you. So that was Chef's Kiss, beautiful. Um, Commentary pointed out that El Clone has perfect record against the Death Riders, which I thought was interesting.
And this
Uh,
was an interesting match, wasn't it? Because it was basically an endurance match of, oh well, if you it was another one of those bloody qualifier eliminator things.
yes,
If you can survive this, you'll get a shot. But it was interesting, I think, having that with, and I know he didn't win in the end, so it's redundant. But that's a good thing too. Like, don't put a clause in and have someone win every time, because then it becomes predictable. And AEW's been really good at that, kind of protecting those clauses. But I just thought it was interesting having a luchador do that, because I think it kind of challenged him a bit as to how he would kind of adjust his style, and he kind of inverted it. So the struggle was at the start, and the slow bits were at the start, and then it amped up towards the end, and then like he had the loss. But normally in like a typical 20-minute endurance match, when you think uh, it's it's more of like a slugfest, especially towards the end. It's drawn out, it's near falls, it's submissions, it's grueling. And we didn't get that, but I think that was the interesting thing of with Mox, whoever he's against or whatever the clause is, it challenges him, but it also challenges his opponent, because Mox is a different breed of cat. He's a different type of wrestler, and I just find his matchups really, really interesting, especially in his current iteration of his character.
me too. He's very good at selling and making it seem like he's struggling and he could lose at any given point, but it's like he is finding his opponent's sort of weaknesses and using that to match up with his strengths.
Yeah.
Um,
And also, another thought I had when I was watching this is like the way he plays possum a lot. But then
yeah,
that's interesting, because there's a lot of times where I'm scared for his opponent the whole time, because I'm watching him, and even when Mox is down, I'm like, oh shit, he's gonna get him, and that
yeah.
adds like a level of like danger and just badassery and aura to Mox, and it's just really interesting, and it's not something that's typical within a lot of performers.
He's very unique, isn't he? He's so his own wrestler, and even when people, for example, his world title reign, when people didn't like it, he stayed true to himself and true to like his guns, and he knew that it was going to work out in the end, and it did. And I still find it like it just still kind of shocks me a little bit when he's not shocks in a bad way, but just I guess kind of catches me off guard when he's doing face things like doing the 10 fists down on El Clon, which he did outside the ring. It wasn't like in a typical sort of way, like in the ring, and he's like, it's not like he's doing this to the fans and he's like building them up, like doing all this, but they're I don't know how to describe this. They're on his side, like in an organic sense, without it being, look at me, I'm John Moxley, I'm the best in the world. It's like I'm just me, and whether you like me or not, I don't really care. That's the impression that it gives.
There's a lot of charm to that, isn't there? A lot.
Definitely. So they had like quite a technical start, and El Clon like couldn't shoulder tackle Moxley to the floor, so like he kicked him instead. So El Clon being a heel and establishing that early, and even though he is like, you know, typically the high flyer, the luchador, the exciting wrestler would be the face, I feel like El Clon really did rise to the occasion of being the heel in this one. We had also had Nigel McGuinness on commentary instead of Bryan Danielson this week, and he was delightful. I particularly love the way that he broke down the submission that Moxley had locked in. I can't remember exactly. I don't know what they called it, but he was breaking down why it hurts, and I think that's stunning. I love it when commentators do that. And yeah, so like they were doing this sort of mat wrestling. The pace was, like you said, like quite slow at first, but entertaining at the same time. It wasn't like, oh my god, this is a slog. It was still, we're moving from point A to point B in a way that makes sense. And they were exchanging like really hard strikes. The point where El Clon like wrapped the tag rope around Moxley's neck, I've never seen that before. And why has no one ever why I've never seen anyone do this before? That's like a strangulation device in the ring. More people should take advantage of that. I love that spot. And then a bit later, El Clon did like a springboard-like move off the top rope, but it wasn't even like he jumped off the top of the rope. It was more like he launched off the side of the rope. Just another one of them things where I'm like, I've never ever seen anything like that before. But Moxley moved out of the way and he landed on his feet, but then he did a moonsault from the barricade onto him, which was absolutely awesome. And then as we came back from the break, they were getting inside the ring and Moxley stomped him on the apron, and that was nearly a count-out victory for Moxley, so it kind of showed like that struggle for him, like he was willing to take that count-out victory, take it in any way that he could. It was super close. El Clon got in at 9. Moxley shoved him straight back out and then dived on him. I loved this like change up in pace and things. And then, I mean, El Clon like doing the moonsault, he like vaulted from inside the ring to outside the ring. It was just insane. And then he was caught in midair when he went for the cutter. Just so many innovative things. So then we had like the 5 minutes remain warning, and you get into this part. I was actually a bit surprised. I was like, I didn't feel like 15 minutes had gone by. It felt like it had gone really super fast. And you're like, okay, this could be a draw at this point, but you don't really believe it's going to happen, but you also kind of do at the same time. So El Clon straight after that hit a double stomp for a near fall. But then they sort of jostled around a little bit more, and Moxley hit the paradigm shift and the Death Rider for the win. So this was not one-sided at all. It was intense, felt like it could have gone either way. A lot of unique spots, like I've already said. Great opening match. As typical from Moxley, like setting off the show in a great way. After that, we had a video package from Swerve, which was pretty badass. And then it was, before it had even finished, Prince Nana was on the mic.
The music was getting me. It was like every 3 seconds, like, pew! Ew! It was like really like distracting. It's like
I
I'm the world's most deadliest man.
Pew!
It was really sharp.
I
It was a
can't
sharp
say
sound
I
effect.
noticed that, to be honest with you. Maybe I just wasn't paying close enough attention. Um, but, like it wasn't even finished, and then Prince Anna was sort of on the microphone saying, "Oh, this fucking commentary team, you lot suck. Fuck you." Obviously, not in those exact words. Um, and then, which was I quite liked though that it just went straight into it. It didn't even finish the package,
How
and
often do we get that? We don't
yeah,
often
no,
get that, do we? It's almost like a breaking of
never.
like the fourth wall. It's like we always watch the video package to its completion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's
so
like
I love that.
why would I wait if I've got something to say? I'm not going to wait for your production. I'm going to say it right now. So he got the comms team to move out the way, and Swerve stood on the comms table to deliver his promo, and he addressed all the sickos, uh, and he said, "Oh well, I'm surprised you didn't like what I did to Kenny." He was like, "I don't feel guilty, and whatever happens next is on him." He said he's annoyed that Kenny called someone else the most dangerous man in AEW, not him. He took that personally, and now he's out to prove that he is the most dangerous man in AEW. He yo mammoed someone, but I didn't hear what they said. Did you pick up on what this audience member shouted? No, so I don't know what he was responding to, but hilarious. Um, he said, "I spent the last year taking down the elite, so what's one more member?" He said that him being evil was the most success he's ever had. So when he,
Absolutely. I've been
well,
saying this for a
true.
very long time.
Yeah, exactly. Man listens to the podcast. And he said, he told Hangman that he regrets it, but actually, on reflection, that's the most success I've ever had. So I don't regret it. And I'm from now going forward with no regrets at all. He said that everyone in the roster is unnoticed. And I don't think it was, in some points, it seemed maybe a little bit clumsy, but overall, this was a really good promo to establish Swerve as a heel. And it pretty much justified his actions, to be honest with you. Because I'm like, well, yeah, you're damn right. If you were super successful when you were a little evil son of a bitch. So why not go back to that if you're not finding success since? To me, it's logical, and I support him no matter what.
Yeah, this is exactly like how I envisioned it in my
Yeah.
fantasy booking as well. And I think just the aura gained from his character, and also Prince Nana just looked really reinvigorated, I feel
Oh
like,
yeah.
at the start, and it's really fresh to see heel Nana, and shocking, and just how much he adds to the Swerve character. And as well, like, oh, that theme when, like, the promo finished and he walked off and his music played, and it's like, fuck yeah, I'm so here for this Swerve era.
It's the new era of Swerve Strickland, and it's aura farming already, 100%. So then after that, Brody
Love
King.
to see
Oh God.
Swerve and MJF go at it eventually, because obviously everyone's kind of crossing roads
Mm.
and people are kind of on each other's peripheries, but I'd love to see heel MJF against Swerve. And I feel like if they were to turn MJF face, which I'm not sure how I'd feel about that, but I feel like if they were to do that, it would have to be through perhaps a Swerve program, because I just can't imagine MJF turning face. I feel like it would feel quite
Mm.
stale
Yeah,
and inauthentic, like,
yeah.
because
I
it
don't know
took
how
so
they
much
pull that
build up and
off.
years to get to that face turn, and then it was handled really poorly towards
Mhm.
the end, and then the only way they could kind of damage control was by making him heel and going back to old reliable, and he's done really well at that. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think I just don't know how they'd pull it off this time because there's only so many times that you can flip flop with the character. I'm not saying that he has flip flopped so far, but do you know what I mean? It might feel like that if he goes face again.
I'm just
But
interested to see them two together.
yeah, 100%.
Like, because MJF is like a bully in a playground, and
Yeah.
a lot of people, like, yeah, we've got like the anti-hero maybe, or the antagonistic side of Hangman, and so when they have their street fight match, text death match, he's gonna give him just as good as he gets. but it's still not at that same level of depravity which Swerve could kind of meet him at. And it's like,
Yeah.
I just want to see fire meets fire and how that would fucking implode.
Two really damaged men seeing who can drag the other lowest. Yeah,
The
100.
dream. Talk dirty to me.
Totally agree with you there. So Brody King was doing a promo after that, and he said he's ready for his match with Matt Davis in a tag team match later on in the evening. I'm ready to prove why he's next in line for a championship shot. So Brody King's still not left that championship picture. So yeah, like you said, there's a lot of crossing of paths and a lot of combustible elements in that picture, which is nice. The match after that was Orange Cassidy versus Gabe Kidd. So Orange Cassidy,
This was the thing that made me piss myself.
yes,
Was when Gabe Kidd made his entrance on all fours, like a toddler. Like, it was just mental. Like, oh, it was so cringe. And it was
it
like
is so
negative
cringe.
aura points. Like, it was just, man was doing too much. But then when I watched the match and he really committed to it, and then like I kind of got into it, like into the character and what he was kind of doing, and it was kind of camp. So I was like, okay, like I can kind of forgive the entrance, because I will give him his flowers in the respect of I'm crazy. Like, that is such an overdone gimmick, and it's never really like got much nuance to it, or it's done in poor taste, like poor taste of people's mental health, and it's like insensitive or whatever. But I felt like the way that he then fully committed to that into the ring and in his offense, I was like, okay.
Yeah, 100%. I had the sort of same experience of this match where it was a certain point where I was like, okay, to be fair to you, Gabe Kidd, I believe this, and I feel like facing off against Orange Cassidy does fucking wonders for people and their character work, because you couldn't have a better person to bounce off. The way that Orange Cassidy didn't give a fuck, and obviously that's his whole thing. So laid back, the whole thing. It's comedy, it's funny, but you felt like that was really genuinely making Gabe Kidd angry. You know that Orange Cassidy has that dynamic in most of his matches, but I genuinely believed that this was doing Gabe Kidd's head in, and he can't stand this type of wrestling, and he was really genuinely angry that Orange Cassidy was like rolling out of the ring and not properly hitting him and things like that. Yeah, I just had a moment where I was like, actually, I feel like I finally understanding your character, Gabe Kidd. That's what I got from this.
Yeah, and then Darby coming in at the end was just hilarious, because at that point, especially when he got the skateboard out, I was like, yeah, this has just been mental, and it's just Gabe Kidd is an absolute Looney Tune. So yeah, why don't you fucking join in with your skateboard? Yeah, just throw you into the mix. I mean, it was very obvious he was going to come down since like the match was announced, and that he was going to get his vengeance on Gabe Kidd, but still highly entertaining. Even though it's like, yeah, we have previously complained about like seeing this program again and again and again, but there comes a point where it's just that's the bloody daft that it kind of goes past itself, and it's just silly. But it's like, okay, like you've kind of you've begrudgingly won me over. Fine, I'll get into the program.
Yeah, literally. I guess that's kind of the point I got to with it. So like it did get physical, and Orange was sort of showing that he can be violent and intense as well without being absolutely fucking insane. Meanwhile, Gabe Kidd was like explosive with the strikes and really aggressive, like power bombs and suplexes, that type of thing. The weak shots, like I mentioned, from Orange were like winding him up. So he spat on him, disgusting, but then Orange hit the beach break, that was a near fall. And then after that, he went for the orange punch, and Gabe Kidd pulled Remsburg in the way, and allowing him to like gouge his eyes and then hit a pile driver. And for Gabe Kidd to get the win from that, which is significant, obviously getting a win over Orange Cassidy. I know like it's not like he's a champion or anything, but it's Orange Cassidy, for God's sake. Like that is significant. And then Clark Connors came down to the ring. They were beating down on Orange Cassidy, and that's when, like you said, Darby appeared, skateboard in hand, threw the skateboard at Clark Connors, and he sort of looked down at it like, what the fuck, and then he hit a code red, which I actually really liked that spot. I thought it was really cool. And then, but Gabe Kidd was sort of going to run in at Orange Cassidy, but then he got met with the orange punch instead. So, and then he jumped on him with the skateboard, Darby Allin. So, I mean, yeah, we've got everything. We've got Orange Cassidy not giving a fuck. We've got skateboards flying around. We've got Gabe Kidd and Clark Connors. Oh, I can't hear you there. You put yourself on
Saying
mute.
Gabe Kidd walking around like a spider monkey.
Yeah. And that's it. A monkey. It is giving monkey vibes. The on all fours thing.
I like spider. Although Tekla's got that branding.
True.
But yeah, it was just like when you're a kid and you're at like Creepy Crawlies, like a soft play, wacky warehouse type vibe, and you're in the ball pit and you've had one too many fruit shoots.
Oh my god.
And you're just going fucking ham. Like that was what that was giving.
Yeah. Yeah. Same. Yeah, 100%. It's cringe but funny. And, you know, kudos to him for not being afraid to embarrass himself, I guess. Or maybe he thinks it's genuine. I don't
think
know.
that's what he was going for.
I don't know.
Oh dear.
Who knows?
Right, what do we have after that?
We had Chris Statlander basically telling Thunder Rosa to be careful against Tekla.
Oh
And-
my god. This is all. Why is this being built up so much? Like it's Thunder Rosa's like debut return, and they're like it just feels so forced, dude. Like, oh, I'm doing it for you. Like, fuck off. And I don't think that's just me being pessimistic as like not a Thunder Rosa fan.
I mean, Renee asked Chris, why are you so worried about Thunder Rosa facing Tekla? And Chris Statlander didn't even answer her. So it's like, well, if you don't even know, how the hell
Who does?
are we gonna know? They're going to be in a tag team match on Collision against the Sisters of Sin, and then Tekla's going to face Thunder Rosa, and I'm assuming she's just going to brutalise the shit out of her, maybe put her out with another injury, perhaps. And
We hope.
and Chris Statlander's going to be like, well, I warned you. Tried to warn you. But to be fair to Thunder Rosa, I don't blame her for getting annoyed, because it is a bit patronising, isn't it? Like, oh, you should be, oh, just be really careful in this match. Like, I'm a fucking wrestler. Like, yeah, I get it. Fuck off. So that was the gist of that. And then we had a singles match. Manzo versus Kevin Knight. My question is there something wrong with Speedball? Is he injured? Not seen him wrestle for a while.
He wrestled on Saturday. The Jet Set Rodeo had the trios match against the Demand, so I'm assuming he's absolutely fine. I just feel like they are on like a bit of a Kevin Knight pushing them up. But yeah, maybe he's injured. Potentially, maybe he's got something that's not that serious, and he's like, okay, I'm just slowing down a bit. I'm in a trios match. You know, I don't have to take as much of a beating in that. But yeah, my reflections on this were a general reflection of kind of like what's happened with Brody King. It's really interesting in AEW that it feels very believable that Kevin Knight, through how he's gotten over with the crowd and how he's performed in tag matches and single matches alike in the mid-card, that if he were to be just randomly one day bumped up to get a world championship shot or do an eliminator match, it would feel believable. And I think that's a real...
Yes.
Well, it could be a credit or it could be a negative. I guess it depends how you view it. But I think it's really enjoyable that there's not so many clear lines, and it's like you're a mid-carder and you will stay in mid-card dungeon forever. And if you get over, that's fine. You'll just be like Dolph Ziggler. You'll be at the top of the mid-card forever. Like, you ain't breaking that ceiling. In AEW, it's like, oh, if you're good and you're getting over with the fans, then that gets rewarded, and it doesn't feel like, oh, this is Brody King, like where's this come from? And I think that's really really nice, and it keeps the top of the card quite fresh and quite fun because you're rotating guys in. But I feel like that just goes to show like the prestige that tag wrestling
Sorry,
and
my light fell
those
out.
in the mid card have in AEW. So yeah, I do feel like, is it that necessary? Like, do we need a one-on-one squash style match of showcasing Kevin Knight's strength? Like, he is really over. Like, I don't think this was like
Yeah.
the best use of him, but you know, it did make me think, like, it was kind of like almost like a reminder or like an alert, like, oh yeah, that Kevin Knight guy, this is your like 5 minute reminder that he's really good. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, he's really good. Yeah. So yeah, and then it made me reflect. Maybe it's like some kind of subconscious like programming of like, oh yeah, Kevin Knight's good. Big push coming. Like maybe I don't know, maybe it's a setup for something like that. But whatever it was good to see him on the telly.
Yeah, you spoke about that more articulately than I would, because to me, on a surface level, I was like, this seems weird because Speedball comes out but then leaves. So it is like kind of like, oh, we're big on Kevin Knight as a solo. There's nothing really of note in the match. Like Manzo got quite a lot of stuff in, but pretty early on, Kevin Knight hit the UFO for the win. It was quite snappy. So I was kind of like, what you said, like it's not the best use of him, and would it be better to showcase Jet Speed as a team since though they are like champions? But
But maybe that's also because like there's the trios, and maybe like that's just too
yeah,
much. And
yeah,
obviously the tag, you know, like it's got its own thing, kind of going on. Maybe it's like, oh, we don't want to throw them into the mix. So
yeah, and I
yeah, but it
think sorry,
is a
go on.
bit of a shame for Mike Bailey. But I'm not sat here thinking like, oh, this is the end. I just feel like you can't really push both of them
Mm,
at the same time. You can kind of do like Brody King Bandido, where Brody King is getting like the main push and Bandido's getting like the sub push, which I feel like is the case with Jet Speed. But I think you have to give each guy his time. Like, let Kevin Knight have his time to shine, see how he takes it, and see how Mike Bailey takes it, taking a back seat. Just, does he keep his momentum? Does he lose momentum? Then do the Mike Bailey program, and then you kind of compare each of the star power, and then you know when you do split the team up, right, who deserves more stock going into him, who has more potential to make it long term. So maybe it's like an experimentation thing from a
mm.
booking standpoint. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you raised some really good points there, and I love especially just the thought that yeah, we're keeping people sort of, I guess it's sort of like a cue for the main event, like we're keeping that fresh and we're keeping you reminded that these people are strong contenders, and when Kevin Knight does challenge, it makes sense, and you're not just like, oh, it's out of nowhere. So yeah, I think you're totally right. Kevin Knight got on the microphone after the match and said, Hangman's going to beat MJF, and this might be premature, but I want to face him for the title in the future. And the Jet is the here and now. And I thought it was a really good promo. I thought he came across really well. And so there wasn't much more to that. And speaking of MJF, we went in and speaking of MJF and Hangman's feud, we went into their segment. So this was very unique, to say the least.
This was very convoluted.
It
A
was.
very convoluted way to get to a stip. Like the fact that it took one full segment last week, and the start of this segment is supposed to be MJF just saying his stip, doing the fan vote or the flip of the coin, and then just moving on from it. And then also it was then just throwing things in like, oh, and not only will I not challenge Alan my career, and it was just like, I don't get it. Like, it's just, it kind of diluted it in a way by trying to strengthen it, because it just got so outlandish. And then I feel like, sorry, I am just kind of like jumping ahead, but I do feel like the more interesting stip would have been MJF's one of, I'm gonna have all the weapons and beat you down, and then it just became Texas Death, and I was like, oh, but MJF stip sounded way more intriguing from a character perspective, and we've seen Texas Death many, many, many times before. And I was just, I don't know, it didn't really do much for me, this, but I don't know, what were your thoughts?
Well, I mean, okay, first of all, MJF and his one-way DQ match was like you say, oh, he can't get disqualified, but Hangman can. Swerve mentioned this in his promo. I don't know if you picked up on this, but Swerve actually said, was it Swerve? Yes, it was Swerve. He was like, whether it's Texas Death or one way, no DQ. And I was like, what does he mean by that? That's quite a strange way to put it. And then it came up and I was like, shit, that's what he meant. So I guess he accidentally let it slip and didn't mean to, but that was just the thing. And then, so yeah, I guess the convoluted way of doing this was their thoughts probably were MJF as a character would never agree to a Texas Death match with Hangman Adam Page. It makes no sense that he would ever agree to it, so we need to get to it. And so they were jumping through hoops to try and make it happen. For some reason, I hear everything you're saying and to an extent agree, but I was sports entertained by this. I even wrote down, this is sports entertainment-y, and unfortunately I liked it. So what happened was Hangman was like, oh, was it? I can't remember who proposed it, but they were like, let's do it on a flip of a coin. So it's like 50-50. But before they did it, Hangman basically warned MJF that Texas Death would change him, and if I can't beat a piece of shit like you, I don't deserve the championship. They flipped the coin, and it landed on heads, which was MJF's stipulation. And Hangman's like, give me the quarter. Give me the quarter. And MJF is like, no, no, and he's running away. And then he stopped from running away by, was it, I didn't write down who it was, I think it was Jet Speed, and some other people were getting involved too. And they found out that the coin was, of course, rigged, and Hangman's like, I'm not stupid son of a bitch, I know that you'd never leave this to chance. And Tony Schiavone, who has been in the ring this whole time, is like, I'm hearing from Tony Khan this is going to be Texas Death because MJF like tried to get out of it or what have you. So yes, it was convoluted, and yes, it was a bit silly. For some reason, I found it entertaining. MJF's, like, I find it really interesting that you say you would you would want to see an MJF stipulation, because the thought of that to me is very WWE. Like, I feel like we've had stipulations like that in WWE, and I just couldn't ever imagine it. Like, I know what you're saying though, because like, oh, could Hangman come back from it, and what would he get put through, and how would he like make it a fair fight, even though it's not fair at all? I guess there is some interesting things to that, but yeah, I think it was designed to be like this concept that absolutely everyone hates, and it's totally abhorrent to everyone except for MJF.
I don't know, and I just think like because the Texas Death Match has been to me, it's like I get it. Like, is it overdone or is it just synonymous with his character? But yeah, I don't know. To me, like as soon as that prospect was raised, and then just adding onto it and onto it, oh, the coin, it's rigged. Like we could see that from a mile off. I did find it quite entertaining when he walked up the ring and Brody King came out on Bandito and Jet Speed. That got a pop out of me. I thought that was fun and entertaining, but it just feels quite ridiculous. And then the bit at the start of like, you're a coward, no, you're a coward.
Yeah.
I just feel like this could have been done better. This and last week's segment, and I get what you're saying, like it is WWE, but then you're saying you're sports entertained by this, so it's
yeah.
I think there is an element of sports entertainment that could be compelling, and I feel like they would have done it in a way that was tasteful, and maybe you could have even had Swerve come out and Swerve start beating on him with an item and like break his heart even more. Like there's lots of different things and ways you could have done that, and like have Hangman come back triumphantly, and it would count for more than than this. And then again, if you want to go off Hangman going off the deep end again, well, then that is going to push him off the deep end again, isn't it? So, like, there's a lot of things that you could kind of do with his character. And maybe when he wins the belt, maybe he doesn't go full heel, but maybe he's kind of just a bit unhinged and there's just something a bit off about him, but he's still presenting his face. You know, maybe we could have had an uneasy feeling about him. I just feel like there's so much more nuance and fun and creativity in this box. And this box was presented to me. I didn't even think about this box, but he presented me this box. And then it's like Texas Death. And I'm just like, oh, it's going to be the same shit. And so I just... It'll be good. It'll be good. It will be good. It'll be a sicko mania. It'll be spots galore. But I just think the story beats there we've seen before. The wrestling will be good. The spots will be good. But the ring psychology side of things is very paint by numbers in that way around. And then to have gone such a convoluted route for the most basic fucking stip for a Hangman Extreme match, to me, it just, it took away my enjoyment of a feud that I think I'm already kind of struggling to get into, maybe from what we spoke about last week with Hangman and trying to buy into someone as a face with someone who's a heel, and like you don't really have those like warm feelings towards that person at the moment. You can still appreciate their talent and what they bring to the table, absolutely separate the wrestler from the person. That's a different conversation for a different time. But I think that's also tainting my enjoyment of it, and then having it be so clear-cut, babyface and heel. It really isn't doing it for me. It needs a bit more seasoning, and that is not where we're going with it. So, okay.
It's like you've been shown like a shiny new thing in terms of the stipulation, and then it's been taken away from you, I guess. Like, no, actually,
because at least it's WWE style, yeah, but at least the cogs are turning. With Texas Deathmatch, are your cogs turning? Are you like, oh, I'm really anticipating how this is going to play out? Like, I'm really not.
I
really
kind
not.
of am, just because of how they've played out before, and I've really enjoyed them, and they've been super bloody and gory and something new every time. So I'm anticipating a similar thing, and like, I'm interested how MJF is going to rise to that occasion. Can he rise to the Texas Death? And especially with the way that Hangman presented it, it was like, it will change you. You will not be the same. So I'm kind of, I buy into what Hangman's selling me on this.
We'll see.
We shall see. Yeah, I guess it's interesting. We've got different perspectives on this. I'm excited to see how it's going to play out in the end. So yeah, and then we had the Brawling Birds recapping that they won last week.
Oh my god, this just like did my head in. Oh, I'm from Britain and I want a pint and I'm wearing the Union Jack. Like, oh, just fuck off. Like, genuinely, just fuck off. You are doing my head in. I mean, they looked cohesive and they looked great and they had the energy and I bought into them as an act more. But I said my gripe last week about being patriotic, especially to the UK, and I'm just like, want a cup of tea, governor? We're from the south, we're Cockney birds. Actually, fuck off. Like, get off my screen. Leave me alone.
You do not represent me. Yeah, it was very, like, if an American person
stereotypical
was sort of
but they're British.
Yeah, if an American person was
South,
acting as a British person, it would be like this, I feel. Like, very, like, yeah, like you said, let's go for a pint. But yeah, they were like, we're here to beat the living shit out of everyone else, and we don't give a flying fuck. And actually, that did make me laugh a little bit. But yeah, I agree with you. Just a bit cringe,
Yeah. So I think then that led into the women's tag match, I believe.
Is correct.
I'm correct. Brilliant. Okay, so this was Mega Bad against the Babes of Wrath with Lena Cross in their corner. And this was a match that started off pretty good, I thought, and it really lost me along the way. I don't know why I'm being so negative about things in this midsection of the show. Because, yeah, I did really enjoy the episode overall. But, yeah, maybe it really was the 10-man that brought me back to life.
Yeah.
I thought it had the appropriate tone of trying to be a definitive rematch, like these women coming in wanting to prove a point. There was good energy levels from everyone involved. And then as the match went on, I feel like there were parts that felt really empty. And I
Yeah.
started to feel like this when they kind of went out of the ring. And then one of them was like just sporadically like beating on the other. One of them was like I think it was Bane and Willow together. Don't come on that. Maybe it was Bane and maybe it was Ford and Willow. I don't know what the pairings were, but it just became a bit awkward. I don't know whether that was because neither of them knew who the camera was focused on or who was legal. I don't know. And then when they got back in, it just felt like a lot of space, and then there'd be like a suplex or something. It really like lost a lot of the steam that it started out with,
Yes.
and it wasn't at the caliber of the women's tag wrestling that we've seen thus far. But I think that was because of the ending, because when the ending came and it made sense, and I was like, well, yeah, obviously there's going to be a rematch of the fucking rematch now, and so maybe they are kind of holding back and not wanting to do everything in this match with such a fucky finish, was my theory. So yeah, we had Cross clocking Willow after Bane had pulled her into the turnbuckle to avoid the Doctor Bomb. And it's like, okay, I get the sore loser angle, like, oh, I'd rather be DQ'd than lose, but it was lame. And it sucked out the energy of an already dying match. It was like a balloon, like, just,
Slowly
woo, like, it's on its last
deflating.
little bit, and it just fell to the ground, and it was just, oh, it was just, yeah,
So, have
yeah.
you seen some of the discourse around this match?
I haven't, no, I watched the show and I came straight onto the podcast, baby, so
So maybe
tell me.
I totally felt the exact same. Apparently, what happened was when Penelope Ford did that moonsault to the outside, she apparently hurt herself. And
Yeah, no one caught her. That was
no,
really that also stood out. I don't like to point out things like that because I don't like to be like this person botched. But yeah, that and
no
yeah,
one caught her. It was horrible landing. So
injured again.
it's not confirmed, but people are speculating that she hurt herself, and they sort of had to call an audible and have that as the
Right. Okay.
DQ finish. Which,
Okay, that makes
when I realised that,
sense.
I was like, that makes sense as to why the match felt a bit disjointed and why the finish felt a bit strange.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah, just a shame that the way that's worked out. But
Injured again though. That woman cannot catch a break.
yeah, it was a shitty moment because yeah, she just didn't get caught. It sucks for her if
Bless her.
through. Um, and I hope it's not like a serious long-term injury, but um, that's what's being chatted about on the grapevine.
Okay. So moving on from that, we then had a match that I was pretty excited about since its announcement, and it absolutely delivered. That was Mark Davis against Brody King.
Yes.
Don Callis on commentary. I love two burly men getting their mitts on each other. Me too, Don Callis. Me too. This match
Don't we
gave
all?
everything that you would want and expect from these two.
And
And,
more.
it felt like it had a lot of star power, which again says a lot. I know Brody King's been
Mm.
building for a long, long time. Uh, Matt Davis has kind of sort of shot up in our kind of estimations
Hmm.
with the recent matches that he's been having recently.
Yeah.
And yeah, put them together and what you get, a great fucking match. We had the great chops, the sentons, the slugfest, super superplexes, like Avalon suplexes. It was just fucking sick and really different from what we'd had. Like there
Yes.
was a lot of as in all AW Dynamite freaking shows. I'm getting my word orders mixed up. I'm tired. Um, I'm speaking like an alien, but
No, you're
like
not.
as in all Dynamite shows, you get that variation, and this one certainly did as well. We had the Davis going for the Inzaguri, Brody landing two lariats, avoiding Davis's haymakers for the win, which is a really. It just felt like it literally just these two titans had gone at each other. Brody King had just managed to get two final strikes, and he just died on the floor. It was brilliant and thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed.
Yeah, me too.
Post match, we had Brody King's promo. I'm exactly who I say I am. March the 15th Revolution. It's in my hometown. I want to fight with Swerve. And Bandito is also cruising for a bruising. So, hell to the yeah.
Yeah, damn right. I love this. What you said about it being like a bit of different, a little bit of something different, like showcasing AEW as a variety show. Like two heavyweights, but actually putting on an entertaining and athletic match. And because of that, everything that they did felt significant. Every move, every strike felt like it mattered, which I think is very special. And I liked the fuck Don Callis and fuck Ice 2 chants. Just chef's kiss to Denver. You did good. And the only other quick thing I wanted to add on that one was that Mark Davis was still selling the injured hand from last week, and Brody King was targeting it, so I loved that little bit of psychology. Just really good, really nice match.
Mm. And then we had Kyle backstage, Ciampa. You fell short. I don't know what you're popping off about. It's not Sylvie, it's Pinky. And then Okada comes out as Kyle's crashing out. And it was so funny how he's triangulating Takeshita. We have both been champions other than Takeshita. You're my best friend. Collision, let's be called Proto Okada and have a match. So yeah, just a bit of shit stirring from Okada there.
Yeah, but I love him for it. He's such a little shit, but he's so cute. Like I would fall for it. I would fall for him emotionally manipulating me.
Make a Proto Okada merch now, you cowards.
So I would buy it in an instant. I would drop all my wages on that.
But then it's like, what about Proto Sheeta? Oh my god.
Well,
but that does feel fitting, like Kyle Fletcher having two men fight over him.
It's only damn right.
Absolutely. Our beautiful pink princess of the Callis family. Yeah, so then we go on to the mega 10-man match, which was our main event. So this kicked off. We had Jack Perry making his entrance and the Demand beating on him before his other teammates had barely, they hadn't even made it down the ramp at all. Quite frankly, Jack Perry barely made it into the ring. FTR as well, accompanying this beatdown. Jungle Boy playing in the background, pure fucking chaos, anarchy vibes. And then we get like all the split screens as like the Bucks run down and the Rascals and
Jack Perry's music is still playing.
Yes. And we've got like these split screens, but it's like black and dark and all I can hear is screaming and it's almost like a horror movie. And then you look up and there's a mask on Stokely and Stokely's in a wheelchair and Stokely's being pushed as a battering ram to push a book down the stairs. Like, okay, we're fucking going. Really, really entertaining. And I love that sequence. It was following Jack Perry's dive into Ricochet. It was almost like this slide that he was trying to do, and then Ricochet caught him into sort of like a springboard, and then that was reversed, and then it was just mental. I think that piece, like, yeah, the table spots and stuff were crazy and great as well, but that mid piece where every single fucker got involved, and it was just one after the other, after the other, after the other, it was just perfect. Yeah, Jack Perry, Jesus Christ, that table spot. I mean, all the table spots were gnarly. I think Ricochet and Jack Perry ate the most amount of shit. I loved Ricochet's as well with the Rascals, Tony Schiavone. What the hell just happened?
What the hell?
Rascals, like, when one of them did later on this like move where they kind of did like a flip in the air, and then the other one just pushed it.
Yeah, like, what the hell was that?
Defied physics. It was bizarre. I was like, what is this sorcery?
Yeah, same. Absolutely same. It was madness. And I can see it in my head as well. It was like he was moving in slow motion and they just sort of pushed her into the right position. It was crazy. I mean, I had absolutely no idea what the hell was happening for most of this, but I flipping loved it. And I feel like anyone could just randomly turn the channel over to this and feel the same. But, like, each to their own. And I know wrestling is a bit of a weird thing to enjoy, right? But I don't understand how anyone could turn this on and not be entertained by this and not instantly love it.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a real crowd pleaser, and yeah, and then even the finish was very satisfying with Jack Perry assisting the Bucks. Well, he had the assisted knee launch with the Bucks to Ricochet for the win, for a very decisive and satisfactory victory. But yeah, all the table spots, the anarchy bit, the music, it was just a fuck ton of fun. Everyone in their element. Everyone got time to shine.
Yeah, and even
Yeah.
Byron from the Rascals, the third Rascal, if you will, had an
Bird
awesome
rascal.
bit when he ran into the ring and sort of like did a cutter in midair, like as he was jumping into the ring. I thought that was so cool. Um, the vacuum cleaner spot really popped me because why the fuck was the vacuum cleaner like full of powder? Just made me giggle. And it was just, yeah, it was just like if you blink, you would have missed something. Um, fucking Wheeler going through the table, that was a brutal bump. He broke that table with his big head. It was a nasty bump. Um, honestly, this whole thing was just one of the most entertaining things I've ever seen. I imagine this is what it's like to snort 10 lines of coke and then trash a hotel room. I imagine the feeling is similar to watching this match.
Absolutely. Who needs to do that when we've got matches like this? And it really, like I say, it really brought, like, I wasn't flagging, I wasn't hating, so I wasn't like hate watching it out like that, but it like really pushed this episode up for me.
Yeah, me too.
I think, there was three standout matches. Mox and Clon, Matt Davis and Brody King, and then this one that really delivered for me.
Yeah.
This episode and them being beginning, middle, and end was great. Like bookmark of each thing, even if the things in between didn't particularly float my boat. There was some really great fucking wrestling, which just saved the day for me.
Yes, me too. I feel like maybe the storytelling, if you can compare it to last week, the storytelling and like progression wasn't as tight. But we
Yeah,
still
not as
had,
tight is a good word.
yeah, we still had advancement and, like you say, really, really entertaining wrestling. So I just, yeah, there was times where I was like struggling to sort of sit there and like, oh, I need to watch this. I'm a little bit bored. Like I'd want to like look on my phone. There was just certain moments like that. Whereas last week I didn't have any of that at all. Last week we gave it a 9.5. So what are we looking at for this week, do you reckon?
I feel like when I watched the show, I was like a 9, and I still think I would stand by that because even though there wasn't things that, yeah, maybe it should logically be lower, I think just this final match, as I said, the three solid matches that bookmarked this show really, really bump it up for me and make it a great episode that I really, really enjoyed. And
Yeah.
hopefully the things that were lacking can be improved on next week and we get more direction, especially as we're approaching Revolution and we're building up and getting
Mhm.
closer to it. Hopefully, like, we can cut, like, at least with the Hangman MJF thing, as bullshitty as it was for me personally,
That
we've
that
got
part's
that step.
over.
We've got the step.
Yeah.
Let's deliver now and the stakes are set, the stakes are high. Let's keep the energy moving forward and hopefully that will happen.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's fixable. I think it's fixable things. It's not stuff hopefully that's going to linger. So yeah, we'll see. And hopefully we will talk about all of that next week in our next week's Dynamite review. So yeah, I'm agreeing with you on a 9 there. And hopefully we can keep up this pretty high trajectory of Dynamites that we've got ongoing at the moment. So make sure you don't miss that. Do make sure that you subscribe to the channel or you follow us on Spotify, whatever your preferred platform is. And 5-star rating on Spotify really helps us to reach new people, as does a like and a share and a comment on YouTube, and all the interactions do mean the world to us, and we always try to do our best to reply to everything. And if we don't reply, we definitely read everything. So thank you so much for all the support as always, and thank you so much for listening. And yeah, we'll see you all again very soon.
I must bid you adieu, goodbye, and good night, bad.
I wish you died in the womb!